All right, here it is, episode 42. I can't believe we're at 42 already. It's quite amazing, really, if you think about it. Today, I am interviewing a woman by the name of Kricket Moon. She is an artist, a singer-songwriter. She was found by Jay Reckless, one of the people who was a guest here. And she says that her life has been a whirlwind ever since, and I cannot wait to hear the story. I'm going to bring her in right now. Let's start it off right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I hope that you're doing well, and I hope that wherever you are is doing good for you. It's me, it's Paul Carpenter. This is On the Road, in the Waves, on the Other Side. And today is episode 42, and this is Kricket Moon. Let's bring her on. Here we go. How are we doing, my dear? How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Awesome. I was super stoked to have you. I want to know everything. So let's start off with it very simple and easy, as I do every show. Kricket Moon, who are you? Where are you from? And what are you about? Let us know.
I'm a gypsy. I call myself a gypsy just because I'm a traveler. I've been a traveler my whole life. My parents traveled. My father was a priest growing up. So
that's cool. So where were you born originally? Where were you born?
Albuquerque. I was born in Albuquerque.
Oh, wow, cool. And so, and you just started traveling right from birth, basically? Your mom and dad was your dad like a traveling priest or something? Like a roadshow kind of priest?
No, but it seemed like
no, stop it. I'm not trying to be weird. I'm saying there's actual guys that, travel around in tents and do that thing. That's a lifestyle. It's a, I wasn't trying, because you said you moved around. So I'm like, okay, maybe. So what? So New Mexico for how long?
Till I was about 8. Till I was about 8. We stayed there with my grandparents basically until we lost them, and then
I'm sorry.
Everything changed after that. Pretty much, my mom went on her own spiritual journey, and so did my dad, and they found themselves dedicated more to the church. And my dad decided to go back to school. He studied theology, and he became a priest. So
was this later in life? He was already in his 30s, 40s, and then he was like, I'm going to go become a priest now.
Yes, originally he was going to be a priest, but then he met my mom during a sabbatical. So kind of ruined his plans, but
so good. Okay, so then you get married. You're 8 years old. Your dad's like, I'm going to become a priest, and then you obviously get sucked into this world of religion.
Yeah. I mean, we've always been very Catholic in my family. So I grew up very Greek, and it was a major part of our life. So for my dad to decide that, he wanted to be a priest, it didn't really shock me and my brother. Like, we weren't shocked by it. It was pretty normal and natural. But being that young, you could never judge how it's going to affect your life or what it's going to do from there. So,
and what did it do? How did it affect you?
I think in good and bad ways. I think always having to be the new girl really sucked. And I think
explain what you mean by always having to be the new girl. Because your dad was a priest, was he moving now from place to place to try and find a community for himself to become
basically, yeah. He would go from different churches that would offer him to come in and do like a trial basis, see how it worked, see how the congregation liked him or loved him, and if it was a good match, then he would stay a while. But as a priest, you try not to get too sucked into one church, because eventually, your life is on the road. Like, you're going to be, on the road.
Well, especially if you're evangelizing, right? It's all dependent upon, like, I guess, really, in the end, what kind of priest you want to be, or what kind of rabbi, or whatever it is that you want to be, right? There's some that just want to find a community. And like, I have a friend of mine who studied to be a rabbi, and he ended up doing like colleges and like
Oh,
for this group. It's called Aish, and it's like Chabad is like a very well-known big, and then Aish is right underneath them. And yeah, so his whole thing was, I just want to have a family and just, find a place where I can hunker down. So I can see, yeah, it's all dependent on, I guess, what kind of, preacher, or what kind of, evangelist you want to be. Yeah.
mhm.
But that was his choice. And so how long does this last while you're on the road and running around?
See, that's the thing. I followed my parents probably way too long. You know what I mean? I was into my 20s before I broke free from living my own life, which has everything to do with fear, and just.
Sure. Part of the religious doctrination, fear mongering kind of ideology mentality. Sure, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's I think there's a good, like you were saying earlier, it's like there's a good and a bad to it, right? Like on some level, it's nice to have the religion and to have the doctrine and to have this idea that, like I was talking to a Jewish friend of mine yesterday. He's like, I will not walk into a Catholic or Christian temple, but I'll walk into a mosque. And I'm like, really? Please explain more to me. And he goes, because it's definitive that those who are studying the Nation of Islam are studying the exact same God as the Jews. Mm-hmm. And so if you wanted to pray within a mosque, there is no issue whatsoever. Right. I think it comes down to idolatry is what he was trying to explain, that going into a church, and no offense to anybody who's Christian or anything like that, but the idea of having a centralized character that's not God is in and of itself the idea of idolatry, right? So you're separating yourself away. So I get where he's coming from, but
right.
So you're 20 something years old. You sound like my mom, because I remember when my mom said, like, when I was 23 years old, I was still playing with dolls. She said to me, and I guess on some level, do you feel that that's where your mentality was? You were still too childlike to leave?
I think my parents raised a very naive girl, and to my own detriment, because it got me where I didn't want to be, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did, because it took me where I needed to be. It showed me what it needed to show me. It made me stronger, and it made me the person I am. So it's good and it's bad.
Right. Like
all things, good and bad. So
then you break free from mom and dad. You're having your moment. Call it like I'm thinking like what are these kids? The ones that live with their everybody has beards and they ride horses. What do they say? What are they called?
Oh, the Amish. Are you talking about Amish?
Yeah, like the Amish at 15, they take off for like a week or two or whatever it is, just to go see what it's like. So okay, so you're having your Amish your Amish moment. And so what happens? Where do you end up? How, like, what's the story that kind of evolves from there?
Okay, so right before my 30th birthday, I'm 20.
Wait, you just jumped like 8 years.
I'm 29, going on my second divorce.
No. We need all this information. Hold on. 22 years old, you leave. And what's happening 22, 23, 24? I want to know those.
Those were in between my divorces. Like, I would move back in with my parents after a divorce.
So you were not married, you leave your mom and dad, and you ended up getting married.
Let's back up the bus. I got married at 17 to leave home.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So, you're making me miss story. I like this part. Okay, so you get married to a guy from the church, I'm guessing.
No, my parents wished, but it was my high school sweetheart. We went to school together here in Alvin, actually, and I married him. We had a baby at 20, and the relationship it didn't work out. It was toxic, but
sure.
It's how it is sometimes. I learned a lot. I learned who I was. I learned a lot. So I move on. I move back in with my parents. They're still traveling like gypsies, of course. So here I am in my 20s.
Baby in tow.
Ministering with my family. And
so you were on the street, you were evangelizing, going from place to place with your parents, wherever the new place was going to be. You were like, okay, mom and dad, I'm in. Let's go. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Okay.
So did that, wound up in Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. And I think that's where I had just like this aha moment of just like, what am I doing? Like, where is my life going? This is not the direction I want. You know, this is
not for any particular reason, not something that popped into your life, not a human being that came to you, just an overwhelming feeling of like, okay, wait a second. I'm just following my parents around. I had just had a daughter. I really need to reevaluate and reassess right now because I don't know that this is
two kids. I'm following my parents around. I'm still single.
When did the second kid come into play? I thought we only had one kid.
Yeah, and then I got married again.
So, okay, so you get married, you have a child, you get divorced, you move back with your mom and dad, and then you meet another guy, you have another child, and then you're back with your mom and dad, and this is when you have this epitome moment, like, okay, whoa.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Like,
right, the revolving circle.
Yeah, this is not me. This is not what I want. So at that point, I went to my parents and I said, I love y'all, but I have to live my own life. And they weren't happy about it. They weren't. They
wanted you to follow in the church. They wanted you to, like, once your dad's gone.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, they couldn't control my brother because my brother was the baby. He was wild. He, you know, did what he wanted. And I was just always the one that was like, I listened, you know, I'm a good listener. You know, I followed the rules and I thought that was what we were supposed to do. Follow the rules, you know? And I left home. I packed up me and my kids and a monster U-Haul with my Ford F-150 attached to the back, and I drove that puppy back to Houston.
Really? From Alabama? And you were like, I'm going back to Houston. Houston was your home. And you felt that. Okay. So when you get to Houston,
it's where I spent like a big portion of like my teenage years. So they were inspirational. And I met.
Where did you go to school in Houston?
Alvin. I went to.
So you were on Alvin girl. Okay. So right there, right in town. Okay. So you head back, and what's your thing? What do you do?
My goal is like.
And how old are you? You're now 28, 29?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right before I'm 30, I call it like, I don't know. It was just a wake up moment. It was like God speaking to me, like, get your life together, girl. I have plans for you. Like, you have a bigger life than this, you know, and you're just following instead of leading. And I need you to be a leader, not a follower. And that's just kind of what I felt. And I was like, okay, I need to take control of my own life now. So
right, 100%. Let me take a real quick break real quick. I just want to tell everybody who's watching hello and thank you guys. If you wanted to, if you're watching right now, please know that we're on Facebook Live, one of the Facebook groups I have. We're also on Twitch. We're on YouTube Live, soon to be on Kick and on Rumble. If you would like to leave a comment, please go to either one of those the websites that are here. It's youtube.com/Paul David Carpenter or facebook.com/mentally hip FAN. Or if you'd like, in Facebook, in the comments section, there's an area there will tell you how to join in and leave a comment so I can read your comments. Otherwise, I do not see them, and it makes me feel bad because it helps the show so much when people do comment. And I lost Kricket, don't know where she went. I'm gonna wait for her to jump back in. I'm hoping that she's still here. There, I believe that's her. Yeah, she is. I got her. You're good. No stress. It happens all the time. There you are. You're back. Okay. So let's get back into this. Okay. So you're 28, 29, 30. You're back in Houston. You're thinking, I'm just going to try and survive it, make it happen, figure it out one way or another. So what's the first thing you do? Do you go get a job? Do you like what did you end up like? Did you have friends already that were here that were like, oh my God, come stay with me or something to that effect? I don't know.
No, I did have friends, and of course they all offered, for me to come stay, but it was important for me to do things on my own and to know that I could do it on my own. And
wow. Okay.
I had my sister was working for, my half sister was working for HUD at the time, and my stepsister actually, she was working for HUD at the time, and she said I could probably get you into HUD housing, for now until you can, get a job and whatever. So she did. She was able to get me into HUD housing. I moved to the 5th Ward, and
wow. Super hardcore.
It was, but you know what? Those
people make it out to be, right?
Yeah. Shaped me, man. They shaped me. They were great people, and people are just scared because of the area. But it was great, and it was a learning experience for me. So I love it. So I'm living in the 5th Ward. I'm working 2 jobs. I start my own cleaning business, which took off. And I knew that I had to hold a job, but also make money on the side too, basically a hustle. So I started promoting bands and getting into the music scene in Houston. I was right there. I was real close. And I've just always been a part of music. My brother was huge into music. He had a band, and it's just something that we bonded over was music, and it was a good side hustle. I could promote bands that I believed in, and they would do well. And then I saved up for a couple years and moved my kids out. We moved out of the 5th Ward. We moved to closer to Beaumont, to the Beaumont area. Found a better school district, put my kids in a better school district, and eventually bought a house out there that I just recently sold.
Wow.
And
this whole time you're still holding and owning this business, the cleaning business.
Yes.
That's still running. Are you still doing that today?
No. No.
Okay.
No, after it helped me get through school. It helped me to get through like hair school. I decided I wanted to go, to hair school and actually have a degree in something.
Right.
And that was the easiest for me. Hair was easy. It was something I could always do. It was just a creative thing that I've always been able to do. So that was easy. Got my hair license, opened up my own salon. Inviter.
You are an entrepreneur, man. One after the other. You're like all about opening up your own business, working for yourself. So my main question to you, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just go and get regular jobs. And what was the impetus in that? What was that? Seeing your dad sort of kind of being a self-starter and a go-getter, and you figured I could do the same thing? Because I mean, nobody came to you and taught you that, right? You just said, I'm just going to start my own business. Like, but most people don't do that, right? Most people are like, oh, okay, well, I'm screwed. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go get a job, But that hasn't been your thing. You seem to like to start businesses and run businesses.
Yeah, because I don't want to work for the man. I want to work for myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing the hard work. I don't want to have to pay someone else for my talent.
More than you, I get it. But most people don't get that lifestyle thought process. That's why I'm asking, like, what was the thing that made you think that you were like, oh, I don't need to go work for somebody else. I can own my own business. Like, and then the next thing is, how were you starting these businesses? Were you getting loans? Were you going to people? No, you were just doing this all on your own, straight, just elbow greasing it out and saying, oh, I've got to.
Word of mouth. You build your business by word of mouth. People find out about you. They come in, you treat them well, you give them a good service, and they're going to remember you, and they're going to come back to you. And that's just how it's always been for me. I've always been able to hold it because of that.
So okay. So now you had this business, you're running around, you're doing your thing, you have your own place in Beaumont, you start getting into the music scene. So how old are you at this point? Mid-30s?
In my 30s, yeah, like 33 maybe. And then my whole world crashed. We lost my brother.
Oh,
He was only 33, and he had just signed a contract with Marvel Records. He was going to start doing a new comic for them that he had designed on his own. And so it was kind of like a shock, and it just like shocked the family, and it just put us all in really bad places. And I think I took it out on music, and I was like, fuck music. I never want to listen to music. I never want to be involved in music. It just hurt. It hurt too bad.
Right. Too many memories, too many connections. Got it.
Yeah. So I turned away from it. My parents still are having problems dealing with it, especially my mom. She spent the first 5 years in bed and just didn't get out.
And your brother wasn't like into anything extracurricular, like he was. It was just a freak accident, whatever happened.
It was a heart attack. He had a heart condition that we never knew about. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, at that point, you can't. I mean, that's just life at that point, right? I mean, at that point, it's like you can't. It would be much worse, or I could understand on your mom's level, like really hurting if, like, or maybe hurting less. I don't know. Now that thinking about it, like if your brother was a drug addict or if he committed suicide or something insane, then you could be like, okay, now I'm depressed over it for a long period of time. But if this is something that's just a natural occurrence from his body that you had no control over genetically, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, I mean, like I could be in the middle of this thing right now, you know. It's like this,
yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. Like none of us expected it, you know, and he had a wife and a kid, and it was just, I felt very responsible for my family, for my nephew, for my, you know, I felt very responsible, and I just ran away from music. But that's what I did. Like when something got too scary, you know, it's like I can notice it in myself. I would run. It's just what I was taught. So it's like natural for me to just be a runner. But, you know, getting more into spirituality and getting more into that sort of thing, you realize you can't do that your whole life. You can't just run in fear, you know? So...
Okay. So you feel that while you were away from your parents at the beginning, when you're with your two children, you feel that on some level when you were creating these businesses and doing all these things, you're running in fear while doing it.
Absolutely. I was doing.
Oh, we lost her again. Oh, there she is. You're good. Don't worry. It happens.
Was I running in fear? Probably so. Just, I was doing what came easy to me. Cleaning, you know, cleaning came easy to me. I'm a clean freak. So running a business, cleaning, easy. Same with hair. Hair was easy. It's like I always went the easy way, you know?
I like that you say that it's easy, but like, anybody knows that, or anybody who's actually tried to attempt to start a business, it's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. So I love that this has been kind of a running theme in my show, but I love the fact that people come in and they're like, that was nothing. What are you talking about? This is what I do, you know? And I'm like, no, that's a superpower, bro. That's a superpower. Like, you don't understand. Like, that's the cool stuff, bro. That's why we're here. I want to know about that, you know? Because that really is, like I said at the beginning, most people don't do that. They go, oh, I have to go get a job. I have to do this thing. And all these pressures, societal pressures, if you will, that come on to us about how we're supposed to be or do. So, yeah, it's a superpower. I like to, and one way you're really easy about it, yet in another way you say you're running in fear. And so it's kind of cool that you're able to recognize that. You know, like, especially now, I mean, maybe now you recognize it more that you're older, but the fact that you're able to recognize it and say, oh, okay, so I was kind of in this revolving door lifestyle.
Oh
And
yeah.
at one point or another, I was like, meh, even though I was okay, and even though I was surviving, and even though I was doing all these things, there's this extra weight that I had that I hadn't let go
That
of.
was just barely living in survival mode. That's it. You know, you're just surviving. You're not
Right.
truly living. So
Right, you're not thriving. Yeah, there's a difference between surviving and thriving. 100%, sure, 100%. And you can tell the difference, and you know the difference when it's in your life. Like, you know when you're thriving. Like it was really cool. Like when I first started this thing, you know, and I had the momentum behind it. And you saw it, right? And it's still there. I mean, granted, the wave it's a massive tsunami I'm creating, and that's fine. But it was, I remember like the first 10 or 15 episodes, the amount of like, what I could feel from behind me, all the people pushing like, whoa, this is so good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You know, that whole energy. And so when I don't have somebody fill in a spot, or when I have a day, because it's happened like 5 or 6 times now, where someone doesn't show up, my day gets totally screwed.
Yeah.
Mentally, I am like, what happened? What did I do wrong? Why don't they like me? Oh, well, why didn't somebody else want to be on the podcast? Oh, I thought I was doing pretty good. You know, all those things pop through your head, you know? And so, but it's funny that even with that, if you're living in like what we're calling thriving, those don't pop into your head. And the reason for that is because you're too busy to think about them.
Yes.
That's real thriving. Real thriving is like, it's really weird because it's cool, but it's like this idea where I'm so busy, I don't care. Like, it's not that I don't care, because I don't want to say that either, but I'm so busy, I don't have the time to care. And so, and that goes back to going back to the idea of I need to have a job and keep my job and work. And then all of a sudden you don't have time for the actual thing you want to create. And so once again, I give you super props for having that superpower in your life of not necessarily thinking I have to be like everybody else and I can start my own business. I can do my own thing. And that's a superpower. So, okay. Your brother passes away. You get to a point now where you're like, screw music, and where and what happens to in your life at that point?
I bury myself in work, and raising my kids, and
so this is like 5 or 6 years that are going by. Your mom's super depressed. You're like just head to the ground. Let's just keep moving forward. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think all of us just really didn't know how to cope. You know what I mean? It was just like that unexpected, that one thing that you didn't expect to happen. Then we just don't know how to deal with it. And so that's how it was for a long time. And then I realized I don't want to be like that either. I love music. Music brought me and my brother together. It bonded us. Like it was something special. And so then that's when I realized I maybe want to get back into music, maybe, you know, so I start writing, and I'm a big writer anyways. I journal, I write every day. I have probably 5 books that are filled with just like random thoughts, you know.
Yeah, it's great. It's always good to have. Yeah. Always also good to look back at. Like when you're, 40 and you look back at when you were 20-something years old and you're like, oh man, wow. You know, and you reminisce on who you were and what was in your heart. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So that's when you start getting into wanting to sing and start doing music, and like, and that brings me now to, you were already obviously singing with your dad in the church, and were you part of a choir group? Was music in some way part of your life already in that respect, in the sense of playing music and not just listening to it and going to concerts or whatever?
I never actually played. Like, my brother was the guitar player, but singing, yes. I sang with him. I sang with my dad, of course. My dad has a gorgeous voice. He's a priest. He sings beautifully.
Is your dad still alive, and he's still doing his thing as a priest?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like he found his thing. And that's like for anybody who's out there in the world that's like saying I can't, or I'm already too old, or I'm this or I'm that. It's stories like your dad, like when you find something at your 40 something and you find it then. I mean, like I hear the story of like Kentucky Fried Chicken started at 60 something years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those kind of stories really always make me happy, because it's like there's no, who said you gave up? Who says time's over? You know, like if you're here, you're here.
I've struggled with that though. You know, you struggle with age and like, can I really do this at 43? Like, what am I thinking? You think those things though.
It's weird. I don't. I'm weird like that though. I still like, if somebody were like, hey, let's go do parkour right now and like jump off a building and do tumbles, I'm like, all right, let's go. You know, like I still feel like I'm like 20 something years old and I don't know any better. And I'm still riding around on a motorcycle and I'm 47. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
But then again, I live a totally different life. I don't feel like I look 47, first of all. I don't feel like I act 47. I don't feel like I think 47. It's just weird, like I just don't feel normal. I don't feel, and I've never been normal. You know what I mean? Like I've never been like a regular person. I've tried. Just didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at what point in your life do you meet Jay Reckless and the music thing? Bring me months before that, or even a year before that happens. Like you start writing music, you start connecting with some people in the industry here in Houston, and I want to know who's your first. I have a thing. It's called Someone Saying Hello. And I talked about this story. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's about a guy who worked he had to go and find out who, when they jumped off the bridge in San Francisco, whether they were forced to do it or they wanted to do it. And he said that over the years, he like saw thousands and thousands of stories. And the one story that really affects him is that when he walks into the house, he sees a note and he's like, everybody leaves a note. Okay, whatever. And so he picks up the note and he goes, hi, my name is, and I'm walking to the bridge right now, but I'll turn around if one person says hello.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously nobody said hello, which is really sad. But the point here is that there's moments in our lives that we have someone who says hello to us. And so who is the person in your life while you're in this journal writing thing, and then all of a sudden one day you just belt out a tune and the guy goes, wait, you? Like, who's that guy in your life that you're like, oh, okay, you think I'm good at that person? Who's that?
Daniel. He is my current boyfriend that I'm dating, and he's been my friend though a long time. We've been friends 18 years, so we've been friends a long time. And he was just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, do that again? Wait, sing that again." And then the more I started singing, the more friends would hear me and be like, "Why aren't you singing? Like, why aren't you doing this?" Like. And I'm like, I don't know. It just wasn't a part of my life. Like, it's not where my life led me. But now that my brother's gone, it's almost like, how else better to memorize, like to remember my brother.
To remember him and to also have a connection to him. And for sure, 100%. What a great way to heal as well,
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what helped me to heal from that was putting everything into the song. Originally, it was going to be a song for him. I just couldn't bring myself there yet. Like I wasn't that strong to do that yet, and this song for Daniel, I wrote, and 6 months ago, Jay found it. I had just, put it out. It was my very first creative project as a singer, and he fell in love with it, and he was like, you got some mad talent, and I think you need to be exposed for it. And I just was like, what? Someone wants to hear about me? What? So
that's great.
Yeah.
And Jay's amazing, man. What's happening with Jay right now? He's so proud of him.
For real. He is my family. Him and his wife Lavanya have become like my tribe. They are amazing people, and they'll always be in my life in some form or fashion. So
yeah, 100%. I feel the same way too. Like I had him on. Someone offered him to me. They were like, "Yo, you need somebody. Call this guy." And I was like, "All right." And yeah, well, I think we almost had like a 3-hour conversation, and it was just absolutely dynamic. Like he is the one thing I really loved about him was his ability to memorize the name of a company, the name of their address, their phone number, their everything about the thing that he's promoting. And I'm like, good God, sir, how do you do that? He's like, no, you don't understand. You got to go to Jimmy Jobs on 11733. I'm like, how the fuck did you just do that? You know? So, but. And also just now, I think he's on a new television station. They're actually like actively pushing his
radio. He's in the
morning. He's on the like new morning radio from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Like, bro. Yeah. And he did it in 70 episodes, 70 or 80 episodes. Like you have to think that is a powerhouse of a human being.
Hell yes. Yes,
100%.
but you know what makes Jay different from everybody else is he actually gets involved in every single one of our lives. He immerses himself into our lives and becomes a pivotal part and a number one. You couldn't ask for a better promoter than Jay. Like he is in everybody's face, pushing all of us all the time. How could you not be so grateful for someone like that
100%.
in your life?
Yeah, and I think that's like, I don't know if you've been watching when I started this like 7 weeks ago or so, but I went to a hippie gathering, and I did way too much mushrooms. Like I did a hero dose, like 6 or 7 grams of like the most. They're called blue something penis envy.
Blue penis envy. Mm-hmm.
And I did 6 grams of that to my head in one bite. Just was like, okay, like not knowing. And the thing that happened was like my friend was given a bunch, and I just went to my friend's hand to grab 1 or 2, thinking that's all I need. And then the guy goes, oh no, you get your own, and just dumps a bunch in my hand. And I was like, I guess this guy knows what you're talking about, you know? And I spent like 6-7 hours in this deep hole of depression, and then I popped out of it, and I recognized that it's not about me, it's about everybody else. And so I need to find a way to promote anybody and everybody else I've ever met. And then I was like, wait, I did that 365 challenge once, twice. Let me see if I can do the same thing with the podcast. Go. And that's just how this came to be, you know? And so, and that's another thing that I want people to understand. There's a difference, and I say this a lot, there's a difference between the ideal and the idea. The ideal is that I'm Joe Rogan and I'm getting paid $25 million and I've got a podcast. But the idea is shoot a podcast every day. Find a way to do it. Just do it. And then from there, everything else will start to come to its place like it's supposed to. Like right now, I'm in an amazing studio working with a friend of mine and getting to consult with him, and he's like right behind me. He's like, what do you need? How can I help you? You need guests? I got a guy. Don't worry. You need this? I got that. Don't worry. You know, and it's just like, you know, and just to see the reaction of other people and how they want it to work and how they want it to happen, you know? Okay. So you record your first song, Jay hears it. Now my question is, where do you record it? How did people find out about you? What was that whole process before you even get to Jay?
I wrote the song, sent it in to a couple musician friends that I know, and asked them to build music around it, which is hard. It's hard to do that to a musician, you know, say, here's these lyrics that are precious, but I need you to make music out of it. And they did. They sent it.
You didn't give them any melody lines, nothing. You're just, here's some lyrics. Right.
Turn it into something.
That's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, turn it into something. Like, see what you can do with it. See if you can make it something beautiful.
But and you didn't even read the song to them. You didn't even read them. You didn't have like some kind of something. Nothing. Just hear some lyrics.
And they were like, wow, these are really beautiful. And I think, you know, there was some changing, like we had to switch some things around to make it flow better, you know. Sure. But for the most part, yeah, that's what it was. And then they sent it back to me with music to it. And I was like, okay, all right, yes, now. And then I sang my part. I recorded it and we put it all together.
From the melody line that you heard that they played, you kind of picked up on that, and that's the melody and the words that you. But then again, you were working with them to make it better. Okay, dope. What a great like first time at bat, right? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And honestly, I was like, even if it's just like this one song I create, then I'll be proud of that. You know, I didn't expect it to be anything more than that. It was just like, wow, I did this awesome song and I'm proud of it. And Jay saw it. He saw it on my Facebook and listened to it and then asked me, hey, would you come in, you know, and do a podcast with me? And I was like, really? Like, I was almost like, really? You like me? Right? Okay.
That's cool. Yeah. That's another reason that I'm doing this as well, is because there's I don't know how many times I've thought, oh, I want to be on a podcast, or I would love to be on but there's no real place for you to just go and be like, hey, I want to be on a podcast, raise your hand, and somebody just lets you in. It's always this very long, drawn out process. And who are you? And do you have enough fan followers for us? And I'm like, bro, I don't need any of that. What I need is interesting stories. And I promise you, if somebody comes on camera with me and we start talking, I'm going to get an interesting story. And it's only because I understand the idea of everybody has an awesome journey.
Of course.
We ourselves deny how awesome our journeys are. And we, you know, like you were saying, we tear ourselves down. We listen to what other people say. We, this and that, or I'm not going to be able to, or I'm not going to this, or I'm not going to that. And that's another reason for, if you have an idea, just start doing it.
Yes.
Like Juan's Pickles, bro, same fucking thing. He was just like, I'm going to fucking make pickles. And now it's a thing. You know, it's like, does it take time? Sure.
Yes.
Is it going to be perfect at the beginning? No. Is it meant to be perfect ever? No.
No.
And so what you're supposed to do is just be the best you can be at what you're trying to be. And that doesn't mean you have to be, you know, Pavarotti on your first.
See, it was easy for me to get into music because I didn't have any expectations like most people do. You know, they're super hyper focused on, I'm gonna make it big, you know, you're gonna hear my name everywhere. I don't care about that. I just care about making good music. Like, that's it.
Yeah, so that's like that kid who came out with that song that was in the country or whatever, and he's by himself on the guitar. And that's why that song took off. It's the same thing. It's just authenticity. Like, if you can be authentic, nothing else matters.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, you will find people who enjoy that authenticity of you, like and that's why I always tell everybody, like, if you have something or you do something, teach it, because there's people who don't know what you know. And even if there's somebody already teaching it, teach it the way you would want to have it be taught. Teach it the way you would want to have been taught to. And then before you know it, you're going to find a group of people who are like, oh, this is exactly how I wanted to learn, but I couldn't find it because nobody was teaching it this way. And then all of a sudden, and then there's also this idea that you don't need millions and millions of followers to become wealthy in this world. You need about 100,000 people in your following groups that will give you $10 each. And you just became a millionaire.
Right.
I mean, really, if you think about it like that, then it's not such a hard thing to accomplish. It's not this like massive mountain anymore. This, oh my God, I'm going to be struggling forever before I make $1 million. No, you're not, bro. It's all about consistency. That's what if I've learned anything. I've seen people who are absolute mules in life, the most just rugged human beings in the world, multi-millionaires. And I'm like, bro, but I'm like, how? I owned a metal factory where we recycle metal. What? It's like, yeah, I'm worth like 12.5 million now. What? My recycling plant. I just went to the recycling plant every day. Before I knew it, I knew they had land next door. So I bought my land and I started doing the same thing the recycling plant did. And you know, like, I'm like, that was it? He's like, yeah, that's it. And it's the same attitude from you. Like, I was just cleaning houses and I just kept cleaning houses. And then before you knew it, I had 4 and 5 and 6 people who were cleaning houses for me. Like, it's a mentality. It really is a mentality.
You know,
You know,
all these jobs like led me to meet like special people though in my life. And so like it's just an experience of like, okay, I see why I was meant to do that. I see that I was meant to meet that person or I was meant to, you know, network through this or that. There's always a correlation to why I did something.
Yeah, I think that that's also part of it, right? So like, you know, like you just said, like we're everything teaches us as long as we allow it to teach us. Because, you know, like there's also maybe times where you could look back at your own life and not my own life where I could say, like you said, I spent too long with my family. Like that's that statement right there. That's that moment right there where you're like, you know, like I went, oh, damn it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So now, the first song gets picked up. It gets heard. What happens from there? Like, do you get like, does somebody go, oh my God, you're amazing. You need to come in studio and record 5 more songs. We need to put you on the, like, what happens at that point?
No, I had a bunch of people reach out and want to collaborate and stuff, and I've just taken my time with it. It's got to feel organic and natural, and it's just the chemistry's got to click. And
because again, you're not doing it for any other reason other than the art. You're not there for any other reason than the art.
No.
Have you heard of Benjamin Grafton? Please meet Benjamin Grafton. He's in Houston. He's a phenomenal artist.
Okay.
He's trying to write his own album. He's this redhead. Just anybody who knows anybody knows him. Please look him up. He's on my friends list. Phenomenal. And just the right vibe for you. And like just the right vibe. Like you guys would match up really well. I mean, as far as like music stylings, that kind of thing, you know, he's very, he's super talented. You got to go see him play. That's all I got to say. Like every time I've ever seen him play, I'm like, damn, now that's a real artist. Like that's the thing. That's what everybody's trying to be, you know? And there's other artists in Houston that are just as amazing, you know, like Cooley Bully right now is kicking ass. LMFJ is kicking ass.
Yes, those are my guys right there. I love them.
I think LMFJ is going to be on in a couple days.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then, you know, King Baby's also doing well. I mean, the thing is, there's really good talent in Houston. There's really good talent in Houston. I just feel like sometimes it's exactly what you said. It's more people saying, oh, look at me, I'm going to be huge and I'm going to be famous and look at my band and look at how great we are, instead of check out our music and check out, you know, but it's weird. It all depends.
They're too consumed with making it that they're willing to screw over their friends to do it. And I'm just not there. That's not me.
I had somebody on, you should talk to him as well. His name is Pat Sloan, and Pat is right now in the middle of putting together he works at a coffee shop, but the owner wants to do like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday or something like that, you know, where every night of the week something's happening. He wants to do an open mic. So connect with Pat Sloan for an open mic in Houston. You know, I know that Alex Arouse was doing an open mic for quite some time.
Yeah, he's
Fat Donkey's the man.
He is.
And I know that they're having a open mic now at Above Scout Bar. I think, aren't they doing it a open mic? It's not the karaoke. I think it's open mic because I saw people with guitars and playing.
Did, but I think even that got shut down too.
So weird.
Yeah.
So then I go back to saying go to Pat Sloan because that's going to be the new place, and it's right in front of NASA. There's a coffee shop. And I gave him a ton of ideas. I was like, bro, like get a projector, put one wall in the background, you know, one green, one black, one white that you can just pull up and down, or you can roll it up with a PVC pipe and I don't know, whatever we're going to do. And then that way you can project with the projector behind the band, any view, any location, any place. And he's like, well, so we talked for like an hour, like we're doing now, you know, and then, So you haven't recorded any new stuff since?
No, I've been working on music actually, just writing, and now I'm working with the guitarist who is trying to put my music to life, I guess. And we're just Fabian. I don't know if you know
Fabian.
Fabian Gonzalez.
Didn't he used to be in a band?
Yeah.
He used to play in Galveston a lot. He's a real tall guy, Fabian, with the dreadlocks.
No dreadlocks.
No.
He's
No.
bald. Yeah.
Who am I thinking of that used to be the
Maybe
singer?
he had dreadlocks. I don't know. But
No, I'm thinking of a singer. He was very well known. They were in a band for a while. He's kind of a big guy. He's like 6 foot something, and he's big, and he's got dreadlocks. And he was the lead singer. Phenomenal voice. I thought that's who you were talking about, but nonetheless, so that's who you're writing your music with. You're trying to. So are you looking to create like a band and put together like a whole thing?
I don't know. It's like where the music takes me. Does it require a full band, or is it more singer-songwriter type stuff? I don't know. I'm just kind of letting it evolve where it's meant to, and whatever comes of it. But I'm glad I have Fabian. He's an excellent musician. And that's what was missing. It's like I have all the words to what I need, but I need the musician part. So he's been able to fill that.
I get that. So what are you doing nowadays? Like in your life, like right now, what are you doing? Do you have a new business? Do you? Yeah, I don't know. You sound like one of those people who's like, yeah, well, actually.
Well, now that you say it. Yes, I do. I have a coaching business now that I do, and I coach people either spiritually, or some people don't want to be coached spiritually. It's just more about like coaching, lifestyle type coaching. I do that now. I still do hair. I still have my clients that I do hair for, so I'm still involved in that. That's why I'm very busy constantly. But I still do hair. I do coaching, and
do you have a website for your coaching and that kind of stuff, or just in general for you?
No, people usually find me through Facebook or my TikToks, because I put out little like videos, or little inspirational videos basically, and they'll reach out. They'll be like, "Hey, by the way, do you know anybody who does?"
So do you have a Facebook page at least?
Just my Kricket Moon Facebook page. There's no.
Right. But there's not one specific for your business of a coaching. I would ask you, if you wouldn't mind, please make a page for your business that is your coaching, and then only because what's going to end up happening from what I see, and because I'm working in a marketing company right now and consulting for them, and it's something that they talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Your business will start to become confusing to the people who are trying to find you for certain things. So like if the music thing does take off, that's where you want Kricket Moon to be. And you don't want that to be also the Kricket Moon therapy place, right? So
yes.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be weird, but I'm being like, for the people who come to see you, like, now could you have a website that's Kricket Moon, and then like tour dates, and then like personal one-on-one? Sure, that would be no issue, and then you have one place and so on and so forth. But I think that if you wanted to really take that to the next level, I would do two things. One, I would create a page, and two, I would create my talk. So if you don't have a fundamental talk that you can go to, because this is how you're going to find businesses, and you're also going to change people's lives. So I just went to a seminar 5 days ago, that was like 5 hours long, and it was phenomenal. And one of the big things that they talk about is that the only way that you're going to be able to acquire more business in your life is if you have your talk. And so one of the aspects of this is like, so what is the why of why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing? What's the why? So hold on, I'm just going to let you think about these for yourself, and anybody else who's watching, they can do it for themselves. But the first one is, what's your why? The second is your talk based on your why and what you're doing for others. So what is the pain point that you're resolving for other people? And then the next stage of that is, what is the product that you offer to clean up that problem? And then the last piece is, how do you put it all together and keep a community going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing I would ask you to do is write down that as a 1 minute talk, like as if you were on like Clubhouse or on Twitter Spaces, and they're like, okay, you got 60 seconds to go ahead and talk about who you are. Take that 60 seconds and make it as powerful as possible, right? So that way, whenever you meet anybody in the world, you don't go with, hi, my name is, and I do this for a living, and like every conversation you've ever had. Instead, tell a story that gets to the point.
Mm-hmm.
So like their whole thing is like, you should never come onto stage and be like, you can thank everybody, blah, 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 but then don't go into, my name is Paul Carpenter, and I was born in blah, 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 and I'm from Houston, Texas. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody cares about a story that impacted you in some way, that helps you impact others. Mm-hmm. So if you can take that story, whatever that story is, and then add that to your why, then you're off to the races, because then you can take that 60 seconds and make 5 minutes. You can make that 5 minutes into 10, 15, 30, 45, 60. And then you're able to then walk around and go to Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, Lions groups, doesn't matter. Go to every single small little mom and pop. And then there's also those BNI meetings, business network meetings. And you just go, hey, I want to talk at your business network meeting for free. Really? Yeah, okay. And they'll let you in for free. They just as much stage time as you can get. And every single time you do it, you're always putting out, and by the way, if you guys want, I have an online course, and if you want, you can do one-on-ones with me. And if anybody has any questions or anything about anything in the future, here's my email address. And then what are you doing? You're just creating an email list so you can have an email nurture series going. And then email nurture series, go to ChatGPT and ask for an email nurture series. You know what I mean? And then write me an email nurture series with 20 different emails in it, and it'll give it to you in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, and then use MailChimp, and it's free up to 500 emails. And now you have a business proposition to give to people and a reason for why they should hang out with you. Do you know what I mean? I just want you to flourish as much as possible in the things that you want to flourish in, and unfortunately those are the things you have to do. Like you're doing it already. Yeah. Right? No, I mean you're doing it already. You're already making the TikToks. You're already doing all the stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I just don't want your brands to start getting co-mixed, and then people don't understand who you are anymore. But see, I'm both. That's just me. And so am I. I'm a magician. I'm a podcast host. I'm a mentalist. I'm a lot of things, but I don't have them all on one website. They're all separate websites. And the reason for that is because if I go to somebody and I'm a corporate entertainer and I'm a magician and I go, hey, I'm a corporate magician, here's my website. And then they go to my website and they're like, podcast, on the road, this and that. And he's also a singer and a musician and an artist. All right, we don't need that guy. You know what I mean? It just overwhelms them. It just overwhelms anybody. And so I'm not saying, once again, if you wanted to make a website which says Kricket Moon music and then school tour dates and then Kricket Moon one-on-one counseling and whatever, that's on you. Go get it. I just feel as though they're two different businesses. That's all. And so therefore they should have two separate profiles. It should have two separate TikToks. Granted, it's more work, but it helps you define the music more, and it'll give you, okay, I'm at music time now. Okay, I'm at consulting time now, right? It's a business and it's a job, and these are my hours. And so it really I feel it will help you in the long run more so. That's all. My 2 cents. So what's the next project? Just working on music. I know there's a couple shows that I've been invited to perform at, and I'm giving some thought on it. I want to see if my music can come out before then, and I actually have something to perform instead of just doing covers. So are you doing any open mics with your song that you have already? I have done a couple open mics, yeah.
I've done a couple shows. I've done a show for Jay. Like I did Jay's very first show that he did. I performed at that too. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you're doing covers, but you're also doing your one original.
Yeah, my one original. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And then for covers, what are you doing?
Mostly Hyrie. Mostly Hyrie. I love reggae. It speaks to me. So yeah, mostly Hyrie. Yeah.
Cool. So you're hanging out with that kind of like Alex Trujillo and Joe Serrato and all of them from like Papi Sancho. We got Saturday.
Yeah.
King Baby, that whole crew. You're just totally involved in that. It's just and no offense, right? Out of the Houston crew, it's one of the best to be part of because everybody really that's that crew that really does have love and
They do. They're nothing but love. So yeah.
Well, okay, so this is usually the point in time where I start to close the show, or I ask you if you'd like to talk about like things in general and just the world in general and your own emotional value of things if you want to. If not, well, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. So I don't know, where do you feel we are today in the world?
I feel this is a hard one. Because I do feel we're at a pivotal point, a pivotal changing point, which is good. We've needed that for some time, but it's also a scary time, especially for the baby boomers, I think, especially. I mean, they're having the most trouble with everything that's changing and just everything in general coming out. So
how do you feel about AI and art and the use of AI in art? And just in general, just AI in general, do you fear it? Do you think it's cool? Do you?
A little bit. I mean, I think I do have a healthy fear of AI. I think we all should, honestly. So
I don't think people understand what AI is. Like when you say artificial intelligence, they're like, oh, okay, it's a computer that can be like ChatGPT and make crappy pictures. I'm like, no, that's like the most base level of what we're talking about here. And like in the next, like, I think it's a year or a year and a half, ChatGPT 5 will come out. And imagine everything that we're seeing right now that's being created. Like, have you seen any of the fake movies that are what's this director's name? He has this very distinct style, and they've been making parody AI movies with his directing style. And they did one with Star Wars, and they did one with Harry Potter. And so like these take like about 3 or 4 days to create, right?
Wow.
So in a year and a half, I truly believe like we'll be able to make those same videos by just prompting. I want to see a movie trailer directed by with these actors in it, and I want it to be a parody of him making this movie of Star Wars or of Superman or of Back to the Future or whatever. And and you'll get that thing 30 seconds later, like we're getting photos today, or like we're getting text to video today. All right, so next question. Do you want to live forever?
No. Oh God, no.
If given the opportunity, would you extend your life?
Yes. I would like to see my grandkids grow up. I have 2 grandkids now, so they're the most important thing. Sorry,
I lost you and I brought you back. So you will extend your life, but you wouldn't want to live forever.
No.
What's the reasoning?
What's the point of living forever?
Ooh, there's a lot of points.
Really?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like if we get to a point, like right now, there's a doctor who just finished doing some stuff on mice or rats, and he was able to literally de-age the rats. So there was a rat that was about to die. He was 15 years old. They couldn't run anymore. His joints were all torn up or whatever. He starts doing this genetic modification to him, and the rat's now able to run like it was when it was 10 or when it was 5. And it genetically, the hairs started changing color. Everything started changing. It's all back to when he was young. So there's this idea now that we have the ability to turn the machine backwards, right? We literally control what's going on. Like, I don't know if you know this, but in your mouth, the place where we have the sections to make teeth, it actually has the ability to keep making teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know this?
No.
So I just found this out. So it only works twice. Like your section where your teeth kind of grow new teeth and the baby teeth come out, right? It only happens once. And the reason for that is because the body literally tells it to stop at the second teeth section. But if you wanted to, you could literally tell the teeth to turn back on, and you would start shooting out teeth. It would start pushing out a new tooth, and you would start developing a new tooth. It just stops doing it. But that doesn't mean you can't turn it back on.
Right.
And it's the same thing with it's the same thing with
our body more than people even realize. Like, we're able to actually.
Yeah. So then that says that if you're able to extend your life, that means that you're genetically altering yourself to reverse the process of aging. And so what happens is that at one point or another, you're going to have to kill yourself.
But see, I believe that we were meant to live a lot longer than we have been. We've just been extremely poisoned throughout our lifetime between the gases in the air and the foods that we eat and all of that stuff. So that plays a huge role in all of that.
Yeah, but I mean, on some level, and this is when I start getting into weird eugenics and getting into transhumanism and thinking that it's cool. Unfortunately, because of the Industrial Revolution, it pushed the idea of eugenics very heavily. But once you start getting very heavy into artificial intelligence and into the future of genetics, we're dealing with eugenics again. And so we're dealing with creating the perfect human so that this race that we are can live on eternally. Is what I think we're attempting to create, right? So I feel like I just saw another what was it? It was on YouTube. It was a guy who's a geneticist, and he's like, "Listen, man, this is the first time in human history ever that we know of that we have the control to literally create a new, different type of human." So there's 4 different types of humans very soon. There's Aboriginal, living in the rainforest, don't want to talk to humans, that are with cell phones. That's us. Then the next one's going to be genetically altered, and then physically altered. So like, this is Neuralink, and this is just somebody who has a lot of money who doesn't want to lose their money. And I've talked about this. Like, let's pretend you and I are billionaires, right? We live in today's world. And you're like, I want to get pregnant. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go to Japan. We're going to genetically alter my sperm and genetically alter your, because they do it in Japan. And we're going to make our son smart. We're going to make him healthy. We're going to make him strong. We're going to make him genetically more intelligent, genetically, physically better looking. We're going to everything that we can do. Would you or would you not do that at that point? Thinking that you have generational wealth to deal with.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay,
because
but then
I can't take that away from our Creator either. I can't take that away from Him. He created us, right? And He created us the way He felt we should be.
We're not negating God's creation. We are, on the other hand, negating the thousands of years of bad genetics that have been led to who we are today. So if what we're saying is that we want to get back to the perfection of what we were, as you said, and as I said, Industrial Revolution, food, DuPont, shit, oil, all the plastics, whatever. If we want to take all of that out, that would then make all of the cancer go away. That would make all of the Alzheimer's go away. It would make all of these things that we consider to be natural occurrences genetically aren't natural.
No.
Right? They've only happened based on the I don't know, whatever 10,000 years that we've been evolving or de-evolving and adding all these things to ourselves. So in essence, we're asking to become better. And so to become better, we would clean our DNA. Am I wrong? Or does that, is that sacrilegious? Because we're trying to be better and cleaner?
No, I mean, I think we're human.
I'm telling you, I've been having.
Human, you always want to strive to be your best version. I mean, it's just in us to be like we want to. But I guess it's just, where does that moral compass come in for you? That's what it's about. It's like where, you know, that everybody has to make that choice, I guess, for themselves, where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, I think that, and I think that what's happening right now, and I've talked about this, I call it the 5-war theory, right? So there's 5 wars that are going to happen over the next 250 years. The first one is ideological, based on religion. The second is ideological, based on acceptance or non-acceptance of technology into our bodies. Mm-hmm. The third is going to be humans against robots, when we have a knee-jerk reaction to not being able to have jobs, and we're watching robot football and robot boxing and robot, all of those things are here to come in the next 10 years, right?
Definitely.
And so, I mean, what Elon Musk is saying with his robots, he wants to have 3 Tesla bots for every human being on the planet. So if you think about that, if you could work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never get tired, and have 3 of you doing that, think of how much you could accomplish.
True.
Think about how much all of us could accomplish if the whole entire world had a robot that could do whatever we needed, and doesn't get tired. Like, I'm going to go to sleep, bro. Keep working. Okay. You know, like, it just keeps working. You know, it doesn't know any better. Where do you think we're headed towards dystopian future, or do you think we're headed towards a future that's going to be lovey-dovey and all beautiful and non-dystopian?
I think eventually we'll get there, but I think it's going to take a lot of work on our part to get there. So
going back to the 5 wars, the 4th war is when the robots come and try to take over humans and destroy us, and the last one is when a weird symbiotic human and a weird symbiotic robot mate and create the first symbiotic weird thing. I think that that's going to be the idea of super intelligence, super artificial intelligence will be that. And then that's a whole new direction in life, and, you know, for human beings in general. I think we're at that place right now. The first war is happening as we're speaking in Palestine right now.
Yes, I hear it from my clients all the time. It's one of their like major talking points that they're scared about right now is this war.
Well, yeah, because I think that, look, like I was watching the news yesterday, and I'm watching like stuff that's live in Israel, you know, at the moment, whether it's like I-24 News, which is a Israeli company that does news from Tel Aviv that I used to work for. But the thing that made me cry last night, I literally called my friend and started crying. He's a very religious guy. And I saw 2,000 plus religious people daily over the last 10 days. So 20,000 people have joined the military.
Wow.
Now, you have to think, these are people that every single day of their lives, they get up, they pray, like, this is their life. Like, that all they do is study Torah. They get paid to study Torah. That's all they're supposed to do. So for those people to be like, it's time to go to war. Fuck yeah, let's go. And they're all about it. That scares me. That's like the way I expressed it to my friend is like, you know how dogs and cats all freak out before an earthquake? I'm like, those are your fucking dogs and cats, motherfucker. Yeah. When the spiritual people put down their books and pick up a gun, you best start worrying. And it's just, that's what got me. That's when I was like, and it was last night at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm like, let me see I-24 News, because that's when they're live, right? Because we're like 8 hours apart or whatever. And I see the like second news article. I didn't even finish watching the news. I literally just started crying and looking up at the sky and begging God for this to stop. Like, please make this stop. Please make this stop. Because what we're talking about, if and when Israel crosses the border and goes into Gaza and starts to go door by door, and I've said this before, the further we go into the Palestinian line, the Gaza border,
Right.
the more you're going to see those people who are all staunch, yeah, we're all with Israel. Blah, blah. You're going to see people start falling off of that ship so quickly, and then it's going to end up being Jews against the world. Period. And it's going to be you're either with the Jews or you're not with the Jews. Which way do you want to go? And then that's World War III. That's Revelations. That's like crazy shit.
That's what everyone started talking about. We're talking about biblical times. Like, we are living in biblical times. Yes.
It's overwhelming, you know? And so it's epic. It's epic that we need to be doing shows like this where we promote each other, we promote each other's love, we promote each other's ideas and music and movies and whatever. If now is not the time to double down on being the most beautiful version of yourself, there's no other time to double down on it.
Right. Right.
Just that simple. It's just that simple. So, my dear Kricket Moon, thank you so much for being here today and hanging out with me.
Thank you.
My absolute pleasure. What an amazing story. Like, I love your story. So if you would not mind, I know you've said it already, but for those who are following us and who want to find you or listen to your music, are you on SoundCloud? Are you on any of these already? Or?
No, I haven't, only because I only made that one song, so I haven't pushed it out on any of the platforms yet. But it is on mine. It is on Facebook. It is on YouTube.
I'm begging you again. Please, as soon as we hang up, go make a SoundCloud.
Okay.
Why not? Listen, there's people who put up one song on SoundCloud and ended up getting signed to a record label because the song took off. There's that one guy, again, who put up one song while he's in the forest playing a song about how the world sucks. Multi-millionaire now, touring. Literally, he's worth like $12 million now. And he's touring in the United States. Yeah, because he owns the rights to his music.
Right.
There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand. Like, that's why I love Tom McDonald. I don't know if you know who Tom McDonald is, the rapper, because he's making it all himself. He's doing it all himself. You don't need a producer. You don't need a director. You don't need a label. You can do it. You just have to choose to do it. The other one is Connor Price. Do you know Connor Price?
Yes, I do.
He's a rapper, TikTok rapper. I've been begging him to come on the show. I want him to tell me how he ended up doing what he's doing. Because it's so good. He makes $240,000 a month.
Wow.
A month. So that's $3-point-some-odd million a year.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
From making TikTok rap videos where he's the same character in all the things.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that helped him.
I mean, everybody says, you know, online. That's where to go. That's where it is. Push your shit online. I mean, that's going to get you the fastest notoriety and the most followers. I think I have 6K followers now, and it's just from little TikTok videos, honestly. So
yeah, I have another friend of mine. I hope to have her on soon. Her name's Kitty, and she has a regular job. It's like 5, 6, 7 years ago. And she's like, you know, Paul, I see you trying to do these things and these videos and TikTok, and I just don't know what I'm doing. And so we got on the phone and I started talking to her, all my stuff, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, and I keep following her. Or Kricket Moon is her name, by the way. Oh, no, that's you. Sorry. I want to remember her name now. I don't want to forget her name.
You said Kit something.
Yeah, Kitty Lynn. Doesn't matter. Point is, that she started making TikToks. She started making short form videos. She started, before she knows it, she has to open up a store. She starts selling gems. She starts selling anything that's holistic, anything that's, bro. And she's like, bro, I have to quit my job now. I'm like, fuck yeah, that was the idea in the beginning. Like, quit your job. Stop working for an hourly wage. Stop giving up your time that you don't have a lot of on this planet for someone to give you shit money per hour. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. And then people stop. They're like, okay, I'll stop. But what do I do? Fucking start making TikTok videos. Period. Period.
As crazy as it is, it's the truth. It's like, that's all this generation understands is TikTok videos. It's just
Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Shorts and Facebook Reels. If you were to make one video a day about whatever it is that you do, doesn't matter what it is, and all you do is post one video a day for a year, you have 365 videos promoting you nonstop all day long. It's like, okay, so you're going to be a person who needs to stand on the side of the road with a sign that says shop here, and you're going to get paid $10 an hour to do that. Or you can make one YouTube video of you flinging your thing and doing it really badass because you're a badass at it, and that'll go viral, and so will your business. Go fuck yourself. I'm out.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I'm serious, dude.
I'm serious. My dad taught me how to work smarter, not harder. So that's how it is. That's how I've always been. So
yeah, there's also that mentality that's I think I call it slave mentality, which is if I work really hard and I'll push really hard, I'll be able to make it, and I'll make it, and I'll be able to do my job. And I saw a movie the other day. It's about this guy, and his dad worked his entire life and finally bought a car. And he was so happy that he bought his Cadillac. It took him like 20 years to buy this one Cadillac that he always wanted. He finally buys it, and he says, I remember seeing my dad with the keys in his hand and this face of excitement, but with these bags of just heaviness of like so many hours and so many. His dad gets in the car, drives down the road, and somewhere in the midst of driving, passes out because he's so tired, ends up dying. And I'm like, that was his life? Like, literally, he spent his entire life to get a car to die? That was it? I mean, on some level, unfortunately, that's what happened, right? But I mean, the reality is obviously the guy worked, had a life and kids and wife, and the whole thing happened. But that was what a crappy culmination. And I remember when I was 30 and I had my own off-Broadway and things were going well, and my dad passed away. And my dad ends up a ward of the state of Texas because my family couldn't pay for him. He didn't have any money in his bank account. And he ends up by himself in a really shitty bed, taking care of people who don't know him or care about him. And a family that was barely there.
Right.
And I thought to myself, I swear, I thought to myself right there and then, my father, Green Beret, Special Forces, 101st Airborne Division, graduated magna cum laude from fucking Fordham University, 32nd degree Freemason, busted his ass, came here from another country with, and then to end up with nothing. And a family was kind of like, whatever, he died. Okay. I'm like, how? Yeah. How do you do that to yourself? And then my uncle, he worked for Hewlett Packard for 32 years. And 3 fucking years before he was going to get his pension, they fired him. They didn't give him the watch, and they didn't give him his fucking 401k. They kicked 1/3 of his 401k out.
I've heard too many of those.
How would I ever want to work for these people?
Exactly. No.
And the worst part was my dad, you would think the veterans would take care of somebody who went to war, they don't care, bro. They're like, you were used and abused when you were 18 and 19, and I don't give a rat's ass about you or your life or anything that has to do with you. Go live in the streets, you fucking piece of shit.
It's true. It's true. We have no help for any of our veterans that come home. There's no help.
No, I think that the statistic is one every 22 minutes. Somebody who is an ex military is committing suicide. The numbers are absolutely ridiculous. And if you want another really scary number, 150,000 children in the United States go to sleep every night without eating.
That's also, yeah.
That's a massive number. It's a massive.
Yep.
So, man, I don't want to leave us on a low note. So let's try and bring it back up. My dear Kricket, thank you for being so vibrant and beautiful and filled with energy and out to try and make the world a better place. I appreciate you for that and that alone. I really do, because it's truly needed in today's world. And for those of you who are here, for those who are watching, who stayed from the beginning to the end, man, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for hanging out. We had 5 congruent viewers the entire show today, which was from my heart to yours. Kricket, tell them where to find you. I'll let you go. I'll end the show. Thank you so much for being here.
You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. It's all under Kricket Moon with a K.
Kricket Moon, just like it says right there, Kricket Moon. Go check her out. Kricket, once again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And you, and let me go to the camera. For you, Kricket, and to anybody else, if you want to be on the show, DM me, send me a message. If you have a friend who makes art, if you have a person that you just were inspired by, get that person to come be on my show. I'm doing a daily show every day, and if I don't have a guest, I go crazy. So with that, thank you. And Kricket, again, thank you. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I am... again and again and again and again, every episode from here and from before and into the future will be that good every single time, no matter what. Why? Because every single person that comes on has an amazing story to tell. Even the people who are like, oh, I don't have something to tell you, I'm not that interesting. You're interesting. I promise. There's things about you that you don't even recognize about yourself and how awesome you are. And with that, my friends, please go out into the world, do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't, do something nice for yourself. It does start with you. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff in this world. Please, please, please don't. Because if you do, then you end up poopy, and that's not good for you or me. No. And number 3, all of you who are watching right now, there's 5 of you. Please hit the like button, hit the share button. Share it right now. 4 of you. There's 4 of you. Share it. And with that, my friends, I love you. I do. And I will see you all on the other side.